Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another review here on the channel. Today we're taking a look at another Tangent Scale Models caboose. This is the ICC BN Wide Vision Cupola Caboose. This is in the first scheme these models wore, the delivery scheme of the 1970s era, with both red and green marker lights on both ends. Tangent made a few different versions of this model with some different paint schemes. This is the one we'll take a look at today. No, it's not a new model, but I haven't seen too many reviews online, so I figured I'd share my thoughts as well. Hope you enjoy. Before we get into it, as always, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new or if you find yourself coming back anyways. Helps me to make a couple dollars, so thank you very much. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you enjoyed this review or if you have any of these on your own. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer as best I can. But let's go ahead and get started. Of course, you've been looking at our label here on the side. Here's a quick look at the front of the model. Nothing else really on the other sides. Here's a quick summary of the details. I'll let that sit for just a second in case you're interested. But that's got pretty much everything on here on this model. The box lid is a little bit tight. It comes off just like so. And right on top we have a quick summary of some prototype info with the as delivered roster. This information is also on Tangent's website if you're interested, and a quick guide on how to operate the lights in this model. We'll go over that in the demo portion with some warranty information as well. Nice thick foam on top. We do have the secret pocket here, as I like to call it, up top. This has both the magnetic wand, used to operate the lights with the Tangent logo on it, as well as a spare parts bag with some additional marker flags as well. We can go ahead and slide the model out. We have the standard blister packaging. No pesky handrail or styrofoam foam to remove on this model. Some nice soft plastic covering it. And then we are presented with the model. Zooming out just a little bit, here is a quick 360 before we take a look at all the details. This model was purchased for full MSRP of $120 from Southeast Hobbies, which is the first time I've used them, but it was fairly difficult to find one of these still in stock in new condition at not eBay prices. They originally delivered in the fall of 2023, around September or October, so it's been a little bit. So if you're looking at this review and you're on the fence, would definitely recommend giving it a chance and seeing if there's one at a decent price you'd like to pick up. Moving on to the details on this model, this is the B end of the caboose per the manual, as it has the smokestack on this side of the model. There are brake wheels on both ends, so it's impossible to tell otherwise. The lights, of course, are the marker lights here at the top, green on the right and red on the left. Those are separately controlled with the magnetic wand. They cycle through. We'll take a look at that in just a second as well. Our ladder rungs are metal, painted here in yellow going up to the roof. Everything else in yellow is pretty much plastic on this end, except for the uncoupling lever, which here is wire going to the coupler box, and with a very tiny green painted end where the conductor's hand will touch that piece. Very nice detail there. But everything else painted green here and separately applied is metal. Lots of grab irons on both sides. The best thing also is that this model does come standard with KD couplers. They're metal couplers, so very nice to see. And additionally, our train line hose here is black at the end and yellow closer to the body of the car. No silver tipped end, which is okay in my books because there's enough details that make up for that. Moving to the right a little bit, this is still the B end of the car. Just a few more details to point out. You can see more of the grab iron detail here, as well as all of the etched metal steps and platform in the middle as well. The only unfortunate thing, and you can almost see it here at the bottom, is that my very bottom step is not quite aligned. It's just a little bit out of place. All the other ones seem to be okay though. We do have a wire panel applied on the door, which looks nice, and we can see into the plastic windows in the rest of the car. There is a full interior, as they call it. There's not many small details, but we have details like chairs, and you can also see the capacitors at a certain view as well, but we'll give you the best shot when we do have the lights on the track. Moving now to the side of the model, you can see just a little bit into the interior here. This is a chair detail that you can look down and also see the seat as well. Up around the cupola, there are pre-drilled holes for wind deflectors that are included in that parts bag. They're clear. You can install them if you'd like. We also have the ACI tag here next to this very large Burlington Northern logo, which looks very nice. All the printing is very crisp on this model. We also have the white reflective striping going across the bottom with the car number on the right side here. You can just about see into the top as well. I'll give you the best look that I can when the interior lights are on as well, but just something to call out for you. You can see a little bit of this panel detail fairly pronounced on camera. It's a little bit harder to pick up in person, but it does look very nice. Moving on to the A end of the model, pretty much the same level of detail as the other side. Lights up top, red and green, metal coupler at the bottom, additional metal grab irons on the bottom in green, running up the ladder. Fortunately, the very top here is just a little bit bent. I tried to bend it a little stubborn, but since it is metal, it'll be something I'll be able to fix after this review. Didn't want to break it for the purposes of the review though. Now moving to the other side of the model, this is where we have a lot more underbody detail, including the truck-mounted generator detail on the axle just over here. The ACI tag is once again in the similar location, just reversed. So we can see all of this detail. There's some white printing and metal separately applied pieces as well. So let me go ahead and give you a quick close-up of this detail here, because it's very well done. There's a little bit of the detail on the axle itself. There are no rotating bearing caps on this model, one of its few flaws. Moving to the roof of the model, and one of the reasons I really wanted this scheme in particular is because they modeled some overspray here on all the edges of this car in green on this light gray roof. I think it looks really nice. It's prototypically messy, but it's pulled off very intentionally here. I think they did a great job with it. I'll try to get you some more views of it. It's a little bit tough to catch it in all lighting as the light gray sort of drowns it out in the light here as well. But you can see we also have etched metal walkways on both sides in this version. The later versions have that removed as appropriate. The very ends of it are painted in yellow as well, where it hangs off the edge. Our smoke jack here has two supports holding it to the side of the cupola with the road number there painted on the side face. We also have rivets running down each edge of the car and on top of the cupola as well. There's also 4 sets of the separately applied metal grab irons in yellow on each corner as well. Firecracker antenna in the very center. That is just plastic, so be careful with that. There's another port here on the A side of the caboose. I'm not honestly sure what that is, so if you do know, please let me know. Once again, more metal walkways here. It looks really nice from above. I think this is a spectacular model to view from this kind of angle. And finishing off our underside of this car, once again, this is the B side. We can see the axle mounted generator here running to this set of equipment here before running up into the body. Just to the right above the other axle is a plug that says 12 volts only. That's for power to the caboose when you're at a station or not moving. Once again, no rotating bearing caps on this model, one of its few flaws. We do also have the power pickups coming from the outer face of the wheels on the axles themselves. Shouldn't be an issue with rolling friction, so good sign there. You might be able to see it as well. The load limit information is printed in white here on the center of the frame, so hidden away a little bit. I think it's a really neat spot for that. But that printing, it looks very nice. Here's some of the air reservoir detail on the bottom. It's pretty much all on just this side of the car, so don't freak out. There's a few holes in the bottom of the other side where it looks like there might be missing details, but that is just holes from the other side on the interior where things are located there. Here is the other truck. You can see some of the bracing detail modeled in on the bottom. That's all plastic there. If I go ahead and zoom in just a little bit, you might be able to see some of this extra molded printing on the very top of the truck. It doesn't really stick out much as it's not colored white or anything, but just a little bit of an extra feature there. And you can see the wiring going to the lights, and this is also my crooked step on this side as well. But that's all here for the details. Let's go ahead and move on over to the test track and check out the lights. And welcome on over to the test track. Before we take a look at the lighting, here's a quick reminder of the lighting diagram for reference in case you're interested in that. My caboose is in the same orientation as this one with the smoke jack on the right side, denoting the B end of the car facing us on the right. And that is important because that side has the switch for the interior lights. Both marker lights are in the same position pretty much on both sides. A quick note, if your lights don't work, apply just a little bit of pressure to the roof and they should come on. It hasn't been an issue for me with this model, but with the Tangent Centralia cabooses I've had, that has been a little bit of an issue just because of the clamshell pressure on the sides. That's something Tangent Support sent me before, so just figured I'd throw that out there in case you're running into that issue. Give that a shot and it should be all right. But let's go ahead and get these lights on. I've dimmed the room lights as best I can to give you the best experience here, but you'll take your magnetic wand, can be the tangent one in the box or any other magnetic wand should work just fine. To do the interior lights, you'll place it just by the smokestack. To turn it off, do the same thing. I'll turn it back on once more. To do the marker lights on both sides, they are independently controlled, which is a nice feature to have. So you can have one green, one red, or both off with different variations in between. Your first pass in about this location will turn on the green light on our B end here. The second one will turn on the red light, and then this side will turn off. And if I go ahead and reposition to the A side of the caboose, in a similar location, go ahead, first pass, green, then red, then off. You don't even need to touch the body of the caboose. You can be about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch away. Nothing too crazy, but that should go ahead and turn your lights on. And here are some detail shots of the interior with all the lights on here, so you can try to see in as best you can. There's some chairs on the lower level, as well as up here in the cupola. Little table in the center as well. There's our capacitor through this window. We'll test in just a second. You can see some more chairs on the other side, as well as our lighting detail here. There's not an overly excessive amount of detail on the inside, just enough to give it the impression that there might be just the crew inside, hiding just out of view. But I did mention the capacitor, so we'll go ahead and test that now. So we have all the lights on. If I go ahead and take it off and keep 2 of those in frame for you, show you how long you get with this capacitor on. It's quite a while, so it'll absolutely help you over that dirty or imperfect track. And it does fade out nice and slow. And if I go ahead and place the model back on the rails, the default state of all of the lights is off, so nothing will come back on until you take the wand and turn those lights back on. They will start over from their initial off state. Same thing happens if you turn off the track power and the capacitor is fully discharged. You will revert back to this default everything off state. And for some quick roll testing, I'll just barely tap this model here, and it moves quite a bit just for a little tap. There's virtually no rolling resistance on the wheels. Helps that the pickups are on the axles on the outside of the wheels, so you shouldn't have any issues with this car on your curves or the rest of your layout. This is a 22-inch radius curve here for testing. I'd feel comfortable going down to even a 15-inch radius curve with this car because there's nothing on the underside that would impede the rotation of the trucks, but a very well-built model and well-performing model as well. Well, that's all here for the demo. Let's finish off with a quick run-by. I do hope you enjoyed that quick demo. I do love any chance to show off those Rapido GP38s, absolutely phenomenal. A couple other performance things. All the wheels were engaged according to my wheel gauge. No surprises there given how well it rolls and performs overall. I don't have a KD height gauge, but comparing to all my other rolling stock and locomotives, this car spot on. Once again, it does have KD metal couplers out of the box, which is fantastic. No upgrades really needed there for this car. And at an MSRP of $120, which is again what I paid from Southeast Hobbies, this car's main competitor in the caboose market is an athearn Genesis Tsunami sound car. So it's up to you really to decide if you want the sound functionality and DCC control, or if you're okay with the extra details in this car and the lighting controls with the wand. For me, I don't see myself using too many of the sound functions in a caboose. I don't have any sound-equipped rolling stock. I do prefer it coming from my locomotives. So I really liked the lighting options and extra details here from Tangent, so that's why I ended up going with this model over, say, a Tsunami sound car. There are quite a few reviews as well on Tsunami sound cars, even in this BN scheme as well, that I'd encourage you to take a look at just to get familiar with the difference in options here. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those of my own to compare this with, because of course I went with this model over one of those instead. So just definitely recommend shopping around, of course, and looking for good deals on both of these models, either at train shows or on sales online, just to see what might be best for you. But I'll go ahead and end off this review here. Once again, highly recommend this model. I think I also watched nearly every video out there on this car beforehand as well. I was so excited and really knew I had to have it. But if you did make it this far, consider subscribing. Really appreciate it. It does help me to make a couple dollars, so thank you very much. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them as best I can, or let me know if you have any of these of your own and how they're performing. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.